Okay. Good evening, everybody. We're going to call this meeting of the Buckfield Select Board to order for July 16th, 2024 at 6:31 p.m. We do have a quorum. I start with the election of officers. We take nominations for the chairman. Yes, Sandra?
I would like to nominate Robert Hand as
Well, thank you.
chairman of the board.
All right. Any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Sandra Fickett for chair of the board.
Do you accept?
I would prefer not to.
But I'm sure you appreciate it.
So, yeah, that's gone to, but thank you very much.
All right, so we'll call for a vote. All those in favor of me doing it again?
Sandra, aye. Celia, aye.
You're Bob, I don't vote for anybody who won't vote for themselves. Just
Right.
right. And Heather, you're muted. Okay. And then nominations for vice chair. I'll nominate Sandra. Will you accept?
I would.
Okay. Any other nominations? All right, all those in favor, Bob, aye.
Celia, aye.
You're on.
Sandra, aye.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
On we go.
Yeah, on we go. Old business. None. New business, the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda. Second that.
Any discussion? Right, all those in favor, Bob, aye.
Celia, aye.
You're on.
Sandra, aye.
Thank you. And the total on that's $82,346.13. Approval of the minutes from the July 2nd select.
I move that we approve the minutes of the July 2nd, 2024 select board meeting. I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, Bob, aye.
Celia, aye.
You're on.
Sandra, aye.
All right. Animal control report. Have a new animal control officer, Brandon Holmes. He's here tonight. Thank you. It's very exciting for us, I'm telling you.
So. Here's that I'm submitting. This is copy of the June report. I believe everyone has a copy of it. I just want to walk you through it so you kind of know what the content is. So probably I won't be here every month to do this. They'll come in if there's not like an incident that needs talking to, or something that you guys might have questions on. I can definitely come in anytime it's requested. But usually it will just be district boards. The first bit is the program board, which is kind of what my duties are as the ACO. Patrolling and monitoring incidents response, enforcement of laws, animal welfare, community education, collaboration, documentation and reporting. It's all pretty straightforward. A lot of it is laid out by the state, so it's kind of like these are required by mandate. Those are the duty cycle for billing. The next two pieces are pretty much what every report's going to be a little blurb about what's been going on since the last report we received. Update on tasks. You can see right here the first one is completing the ACO training. I already got that done. I won't go through each of them. That's been we all know how to read them, sure. And then the last piece is just the amount of calls. What it's called quantitative performance metrics. This, how many calls I received, what the calls were like, if there were any citation issue. And any education outreach that being conducted. So far this month, I haven't had any calls, so I've been focusing more on like what education and outreach might look like, creating some templates on Facebook for when dogs are reported lost, they found, stuff like that, and kind of keep busy. If there's any other questions or input,
Yes,
Maybe to put out there, am I correct, that if someone is in need of your services, that the way to get in touch with you is to call Oxford County Dispatch, and they will call you. I think oftentimes people don't know that that's the avenue.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Go through, not just back to do Facebook.
Yeah, 74395. And they'll take down all the information, convey it to me. But I'll probably reach out anyway and head up that way as soon as I can.
Is that posted on the Facebook page? I mean, on the
It's on our website.
big one.
Click on animal control and that's the phone number that.
Okay, great.
yeah, and I did see your post on Facebook, that's great, look on there. It's nice to see Otto made it home. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, guys.
Glad I didn't push it again, we did it.
So,
Thank you. More good news. Congressionally directed spending update.
I added this in here for informational purposes for you all as well as the public. As you all are aware, I applied or I had submitted a proposal for congressionally directed spending for fiscal year 25 for full window project at the municipal center. The first hurdle we jumped over was getting it to make it to the committee. The committee voted on it unanimously, and now it's been voted out of the committee and will be headed to the house. So we're still alive.
Yeah, we're on the move. And that was Senator Collins' letter, right? She,
Correct.
yes.
Yeah, Senator Collins' office has been great.
Right. Any questions on any of that? No. All right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that'll be great, getting new windows in here. Yeah, it's gonna make a big difference.
Right. I did sign the contract for the community action grant as well.
Yeah,
There's actually more funding, not directly for us, but for the administrative work. So the good part is Zach at APCO will handle that. And that extra funding will pay for what he does for us. So less work on us.
perfect.
Anything that saves us money.
Yes. All right, solid waste committee meeting update.
So I'm sure you all guessed we didn't have a solid waste meeting tonight.
Yeah,
So I just added it tonight. They are good for the 6 at 6 p.m. here. So I've added it to the calendar. We're good to go there. And then the second part of this is, do you want to change the 3 appointed members, or do you want to continue with the current 3 that you have to believe this year?
Don't mind staying on at all.
yeah, I'm good.
Heather or ever.
Heather, do you want to unmute for this? Now's your last chance.
There it is. Heather's still on.
She's good.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Looking forward
Is that
to
something
it.
we should vote on or?
I mean, they're already the members. There's nothing saying that you have to vote for new ones every year, as long as everybody agrees that the same is fine, then I think that's good.
Yeah, you do have some items on that agenda, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll get into it.
okay.
Then, instead of having to rehash it.
Fiscal year 21 and 22 audits.
So,
Saw your email.
yeah.
Yeah.
Laurie,
Still standing. That's.
yeah. Like 2 folks from RHR Smith that were in here last week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We spent a lot of time talking about the fiscal year 21 and 22 audits. They spent a lot of time scanning, I would guess, tens of thousands of pieces of paper. And then they, since then, have spent time combing through what they had. I had a Teams meeting this morning with them, and Ron basically gave me our options, right? We do full audits on those years, which any of us would know right now. Nobody would ever be able to say one way or the other what their opinion is, or confuse an opinion based on that. His impression from what he saw, and he said they didn't see any evidence of any fraud. All he saw was evidence of poor bookkeeping, which is what we all knew going into this, was that, the way things were accounted, the way they were tracked, it's not there. We have most of everything as far as receipts, deposit statements, all that other stuff. We've got partial information from NDS, we've got partial reports for parts of the year. Yeah. So the option is do the full audits. It costs us tens of thousands of dollars to basically go through, and do that. Or there is a vetted process with the Office of the State Auditor, in which, and I tried to remember everything after the team meeting to write it down, but basically it requires a no opinion disclosure, as well as a management letter, which will cover what steps the town's going to take to make up for the poor bookkeeping, which, I mean, at this point we've already done. We're using Trio. Things are being tracked the way they're supposed to. Any information they ask to be pulled, it can be pulled. So I mean, I think we're already there on how to fix those problems, or not say problems, but the oversight that wasn't being done. And they're going to work with us to do that. But basically what they need is a decision from you all on whether or not you want to move forward with the full audits, or if you want to go through this process, which he's already vetted it with the state auditor, and they're good with it. So it's up to you now.
Just to make sure I understand. So are they? If the board decides to not do a full audit, have they completed the review that they will do for 2021 and 2022, or will they continue to look at that data?
So the data is there, that all the data that they can get out of those years, they've come through it. The two people that were here last week, I mean, they saw it on a sheet of paper as it. Karen's looked at it, Ron's looked at it. It's not going to be an in-depth audit. Essentially, what they're going to go to the state auditor's office with is that there was poor bookkeeping at the time. There's just no way for anybody to draft an opinion on anything because they don't have complete data. So what they want to do is go through that process so that we can start fiscal year 23, and then hit fiscal year 24, be back on track and full. What he did tell me is we're not the only Buckfield. That's there. He said there's probably 15 other towns right now that they're dealing with. They've done this with 4 towns, and they're moving through the other 15 or however many are left. And that this is the advice that he's giving all those towns to do the same, is let's get past this and start with a clean slate, and then hit the audits the right way so that we know what we need to do on a daily basis to make sure that we're trying to put in the controls and the mechanisms that we should, so that whereas by the books it could be. Because right now, I mean, the way we're doing it, we're doing it the way we believe it to be right. But I mean, I learned a few things during that meeting with them that, I got to change the way I do that. Something as simple as initialing every invoice, and especially on the credit cards, is when the department heads turn them in, whoever's card that is needs to sign that receipt, verifying that they authorized the purchase. So just little things that you don't think of, especially from my standpoint, because I'm looking at every invoice, I'm looking at every receipt. So to me, I'm like, well, it's my handwriting. Why do I have to put my initials? But to them, it means something. So that's where we want to get, so that on the day to day, we are doing it the right way, and that this will never happen again, because we have the controls of making sure that more than one person knows how to do this. And if something happens, everything's not going to shut down.
So what do we call this? The option is full audit or,
That's one of those things that I was trying to retain everything. I can get it clarified, but it's essentially, it's a management letter.
so I can make a motion, or I call it.
Make a motion to follow the advice of our HR Smith and proceed with the
Alternative to all.
alternative to, yes.
So for the sake of discussion, I will. Make a motion that we. Proceed with the alternative to a complete. Audit. I will second.
Further discussion?
Other people have spent much more time than I have. Looking at the numbers, but everything I've seen and all of the people I've talked to. It's that same information that there doesn't appear to be any fraud, any nefarious. Behavior, any spending that shouldn't have happened. And given that if. That were to ever come up. That we could go back. And research things further. It makes sense. We can't create things that aren't there.
Yep.
So to accept the data that we have and move forward. Those are my thoughts.
I agree. Yeah,
They're the experts. I know next to nothing about the auditing process, so if they're kind of feeling confident that there's no. Mass amounts of missing money or evidence or fraud, then they will trust that.
The fact that it's a state process.
This all has to be signed off by the state leader.
any further discussion? All right, all in favor, Bob, aye.
Celia, hi.
Peter, I.
Sandra, I.
Thank you. All right, approval of the draft RSU 10 school board letter.
You can tweak this too, this is just the draft that I sent off.
Yep.
Sandra.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Do you have your hand up? I'm sorry.
No, I said it. Usually when I write stuff, there's something that I.
There's an assumption of a hand going up.
Grammar.
Give me a moment. Speak down.
Oh, no, you can bring it up. English.
He's just the engineer.
Yeah, so.
Or do you mind?
Oh, please, yes.
My only note was like, maybe we make a mention of if they don't see this as a suitable option, that we continue to explore other options, such as. Every 3 years, we have the meeting in Buckfield, or they have. A more casual, informal meeting in Buckfield before the budget process in Mount Valley, or something like that. So that was my only note, was that there's just no language about exploring an alternative to what you've proposed here.
They also do, oh, one second. They also don't do online, right?
Right.
No, so this annual, so they do a informal, kind of like a public hearing, like we do. In Buckfield, they do one in this region, they do one in the Mount Valley region.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. People can go there and say whatever they want. The school board can choose to not change anything, just like you can choose not to change anything. The annual budget meeting is run just like open floor town meeting, so it's a show of hands. So if you get to that point when it's time to vote on what's gonna go to the towns to be voted on, that's the last opportunity for. Residents of the towns in the district. To shoot it down. And that's the only reason I had suggested the flip flop, because just in the last 2 years. Buckfield has seen almost a 20% increase in our state taxes. While Mexico, or I'll just use Rumford's seeing like a 11% total increase. And it's having more impact here and in Sumner, than it is over the river.
Right.
I can't.
Right, so what you're suggesting is for them to be able to bring the meeting here. So that that vote occurs
At least every other year.
Here, at least every other year.
yeah,
Because even if we did it every 3 or 4 years. Well, that's 3 or 4 years of double-digit increases. We could see where, and I don't want to say that everybody in Buckfield can't drive to Rumford, because a lot of people can, some people can't.
yeah,
It's a long drive at 6:30 in October. No, when was it? March, May, November.
right,
You'd sit there through that meeting and then drop all of that.
but no online option.
Yeah, no, because it's just like open floor, you can't participate in open floor town meetings on Zoom.
No,
I have to physically do it. Yeah, not to mention, all these towns have to send clerks there too. I made the mistake, I didn't send them this year, thank God for Hartford's town clerk. I had us covered and wrote the news that, but. We're paying. Every year. For a clerk, after they're done working, to drive all the way to Rumford. To sit there and take names of 4 or 5 people.
yes,
When it's not just us, it's Sumner, it's Hartford, it's any of the towns, so they're called. We're all in this together, I think we should all share in the.
right, the bill shows up at everybody's door, right?
It's just the geography of the school district, you know what I mean, some of them are not as big and. Unfortunately for us, we are,
Yeah,
when we joined the RSU, Canton was in there too. So you've lost Canton, you've lost that whole middle slot, so it's like an island here, it's an island here, you gotta drive all the way through another school district to get to their school. When school board members, they have to go up there every 3 meetings, and then we have 1 here, which I think they break it out based off population, but. Again, we're looking at impacts to taxes,
yeah,
so that's just my 2 cents, it's not up to me. But I do hear what you're saying, all the alternatives, if we're not willing to consider this, then.
yeah, so we open it up and say. We're open to other things, but. We want to be heard.
Right, especially when the tax burden is increased for us over here.
Sometimes.
I'm gonna give you a red pen. Please.
Do you want me to? There are. Not shades of the preference. Wording. Not content or context. For the sake of discussion. I move that we. Adopt, sign. And forward this. Letter to the RSU 10. School board directors. In regards to rotating the location of the annual budget meetings.
I will second.
Any further discussion?
Right,
I think it's a fantastic idea. The more people that have the opportunity to get involved and have their voices heard, the better. All towns are part of this RSU, and everyone should have equal opportunity to participate in the process.
Yep. Comments online? Did you raise your hand, Judy?
The problem is the voting percentages. There's no equality there, and I don't think anybody wants to go through the withdrawal process. That's the only way we'll ever get to have any control over the budget. If a few more people come to the meeting, I don't think it will make a whole lot of difference. But give it a try. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Thank you, Judy. All right, any further discussion?
People want.
You're interested in hearing the changes.
Wording changes, yeah.
Someone pass it around, you're gonna read it.
Yeah, just go over it and I'll mark it on mine.
Okay, first line, we are writing on behalf of the town of Buckfield to request that you rotate the location of the annual budget. This change would provide a more equitable opportunity for all residents of the RSU to participate in this critical process. Third paragraph. By rotating the meeting location between the two regions, the RSU can ensure more inclusive and representative participation. Yes, and I'll give this to you. Fourth paragraph, we propose that the school board adopt a rotational schedule. A little bit further on in the same paragraph, this would not only facilitate broader participation, but would also allow, put a comma after participation, then but would also allow. In the final paragraph, we believe that such a change would enhance the democratic process and provide greater opportunity for all voices within the district to be heard. And just the wording changes. Content's fantastic. Thank you.
Does that address your? Is that who you're, do you want to,
That sounds great.
that's okay.
Very satisfied.
Give me your second. I have to rotate instead of consider rotating. But that's just another part of that. It's just too quick for me. Yeah. Next step here.
Will we need to motion after changes or? Go.
Go to step up through as amended. Yeah.
I always get confused in this process. Do I need to amend? Does she need to rescind her second so
Yeah.
I can amend the?
I will rescind my second.
I will amend my motion to include. What's the word I want?
The amended changes.
The. Amended change, the changes.
Yeah.
Discussed.
I will second.
All right, any further discussion? Can't see Judy, but I'll do it for my computer, I have a bottle.
Is there any you disagree?
Judy's good, all right,
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
make sure we don't miss anybody, all right. All those in favor, bye.
Azalea, I.
You're on.
Sandra, I.
All right, thank you. Committee appointment,
Clarifying question, is this something that you want us to come in and sign or? We can sign it the next meeting and then send
You
it.
can sign it at the next meeting. They're in their break period anyways right now.
Thank you, sorry to interrupt.
committee reappointments,
I will make a motion that we reappoint Joseph Glass for a 3-year term to the library committee.
Will second your motion.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor, Bob, aye.
Celia, I.
Peter, aye.
Sandra, I.
Other business. Yes, huh?
I was thinking perhaps it's time for us to touch base with our. Committee board organization liaison assignments.
Yep.
And we should do that between just touch base and report back. Sounds great. Like the next meeting.
It would be well on our progress items here.
Yeah, I made sure to remove them before I printed it.
Yeah,
Very satisfying, thank you.
we're looking for volunteers for the old church on the hill. Is that true?
Very true,
Very true.
very true.
Okay,
We're also still looking for 3 members and an alternate for the planning board.
planning board since.
Most importantly.
Have we done anything on Facebook or anything with that or?
I'll post something.
Yeah, just, I'll try it.
1 member. Term ended, and now it's just 2. There's nothing on the agenda. There's nothing needed for tomorrow's meeting, so. They said that tomorrow's meeting is gonna be canceled. I'll update on the calendar, but
So tomorrow's meetings.
yes, tomorrow's planning board meeting is canceled. I didn't find out till after I read this.
And I won't be going.
But yeah, I mean, I'll put a notice up too about all committees. I'll try to update the list with how many openings are in each one and try to do another. Lists for what we have available. I don't know them all off the top of my head. I know, I believe there's 1 opening on the road committee. There's a lot of openings on Old Church on Hill. Make community events and stuff for that. So, but.
There may be one meeting.
Or there might be 1 opening, I'm not sure. Oh, Judy's raising her hand.
Yes, Judy?
Why do you need 9 members on the Old Church on the Hill committee? That's a bit too many, I think.
I don't think we need 9 members, but there's the opportunity for 9 members to participate.
But when it comes to voting, they don't have a quorum.
Majority of the,
It would be a quorum of the appointed members. So if you had 3 people, 2 would be a quorum. You don't need 9 to have a quorum.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Any other business? Yes, Kate.
so I did include an email after the fact of having the agenda written. KRT reached out to me. It's the back of your packet, there's an email there. The assessments are pretty much ready to go. They're just waiting for Patriot to upload the old assessments into the software so they can run their reports. This email came on Wednesday of last week, so he had anticipated that notices will go out to property owners this week. So those letters should start showing up in mailboxes with the new values of the properties, and I'm hoping there's contact information for KRT if people have questions. Because honestly, when they see this letter for the first time, I haven't even seen the information, so. KRT, part of the process is KRT fields a lot of that information for that feedback, not the town office, so.
So would you say that again, people in the back? That when folks get this information,
Read it carefully.
but
KRT will be more help than the town office.
Correct.
because the town office does not have this information ahead of property owners.
I feel like sometimes people read the first paragraph, which will probably contain all the information that they have been waiting for, and everything else won't be read, so. I just encourage everybody to read the letter fully and follow the instructions on how to contact someone if they feel something's wrong. Because there will be an appeals process that they'll be able to do, and KRT is gonna handle that appeals process, to my understanding, so.
And just because the value of your home or property increases or may increase, does not necessarily mean that your taxes.
Correct, as the value or the assessment goes up, the mill rate will fall. Which reduces the amount that's raised per thousand. But we also don't want to get people's hopes up, because we've been very open and honest about the fact that the RSU increase and the county increase. Is what's going to impact the taxes this year, so even if your value. Goes up, there's gonna be an increase, but it's not a result of this reval, it's a result of the increased budgets for those two cost centers. So
And this reval will be applied for this tax season,
that is the plan. This email also at the bottom talks about the bridge. I know Oxford, it was a big struggle with them, because their reval came time to be done. And the bridge didn't exist, so the information that was in Patriot couldn't be automatically uploaded into Trio. Which then meant a lot of data entry. Which meant a lot of errors. Fortunately, they've been working in Trio and the bridge is almost complete. The downside to it is there is a license fee, which any software is going to use. So there's an initial license fee of $2,100. And then annually there'll be a $580 maintenance cost. But we need it to avoid having to manually enter all the data for 1,400 parcels system. So what you pay people to do that, this is possible.
And again, for anyone who has no technology experience, when you talk about a bridge, you're talking about a computer technology moving things from one to another, so.
It's software coded to pull information from one database, basically.
We may also find, though, that with this reval, some properties that perhaps weren't being taxed prior to will now be brought into the fold, so that may very well help
Let me tell you,
the tax base.
every building permit that was taken out last year was visited, because that was a separate agreement I had with KRT. Visited everybody that took out a building permit, check on the stats, measurements, kind of sign it. So pickup work has been done. This will also pick up anything that was never picked up because your building permit wasn't taken out, or during the 2020 to 2022 window it's missed. So yes, stuff that may have been missed in the years past will be been missed, as well as the new stuff.
So hopefully that will help everybody.
Correct.
And we'll be back in line with the state.
Correct. So full homestead exemptions, full veterans exemptions. We'll be in a much better position than we've been in for a while. And going forward, it's clean because we have all the data current, but just moving forward with questions.
Yeah,
That's not to say 15 years, 10 years, 8 years, we don't have to do another reval, but we'll be where we need to be today.
yeah. Yes, Judy?
Will this reval include undeveloped land?
It's a full reval of the entire town, so there will be a new value for undeveloped land. They'll have their own cost tables associated with it, so you will see a difference in the value of raw land as well as developed land.
Thank you.
Question.
All right, any public comment? No? Okay. So I'll make a motion that we adjourn at 7:11 PM.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, bye bye.
Celia, hi.
You're on.
Sandra, aye.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.